In this lesson, we're going to use what we learned about expressions and solving equations in order to solve word problems. So when we're faced with a word problem, we have to read the problem first and figure out what the variables are, and then we define the variables. That's our first step. Once we've done that, we're going to create an algebraic expression or an equation. Then we're going to solve the equation, and then we're going to finish off with a summary sentence or a therefore statement, a conclusion. Here's my first example. Brittany works at a ballpark selling peanuts. She is paid $6 per hour plus a 50-cent commission for every bag of peanuts she sells. So let's stop for a minute. Every hour she works, she gets 6 hours, and every bag of peanuts she sells, she gets 50 cents. So we're going to determine her earnings if she sells 42 bags of peanuts during a 4-hour shift. So the question tells us what our variable is. It's the thing that we're trying to figure out. Determine her earnings. Well, earnings is our variable that we're trying to figure out. So let E represent my earnings, and if I know units, I have to put them in. So it's in dollars. Okay, well, she gets paid $6 per hour, so I need to have the number of hours as a variable. Let's let H represent the number of hours. And then she also gets 50 cents for every bag of peanuts she sells. So we need to know the number of bags of peanuts. That's another variable. Let's let P represent the number of bags of peanuts she sells. So to calculate her earnings, which is what we want to do, we need to come up with an equation. So it's $6 per hour plus 50 cents per bag of peanuts. We're told she sells 42 bags of peanuts in a 4-hour shift. So we know the number of hours is 4 and the number of bags of peanuts is 42. So substitute those values into our equation. 6 times 4 is 24. 50 cents for each bag, 42 bags. Multiply those together. That's 21. So 24 plus 21, that's $45. So we defined our variables, we made an equation, we solved the equation, now we need to have a summary sentence. So therefore, Brittany earned $45. Same situation, different question. How many bags of peanuts must she sell to earn $100 in 7 hours? Okay, so we don't have to define our variables. We've already done that. We already have an equation, and this is what it was. So now we're asked, how many bags of peanuts? That's what we're trying to find. This time we're trying to solve for P. So if we're solving for P, we need to be able to substitute in values for H and E. Well, earn $100, so E is 100. In 7 hours, so H is 7. So I can do this, 6 times 7, that's 42. So 100 equals 42 plus 0.5 P. I want to solve for P, so I have to move this term to the other side. So I need to do the opposite. So I'm going to subtract 42 from both sides. So 100 minus 42, that's 58 on the left. If I get rid of the 42 on the right, I'm left with just 0.50 P. Now I want to isolate P. Right now it's being multiplied by 0.50. So I need to divide both sides by 0.50. So that'll cancel out the 0.50 on the right-hand side. I'll be left with just P on the right. 58 divided by 0.50, that's 116. So P equals 116. Now I can finish off the question with my summary sentence. Therefore, she must sell 116 bags of peanuts. Two numbers have a sum of 32. The first number is 4 more than the second number, tripled. What are the two numbers? A lot of people find these types of questions very confusing. But let's break it down. What are our variables? What are we trying to figure out? Well, let's look at the question. What are the two numbers? So those are our two variables. Let's let x represent the first number and y represent the second number. Okay, now we need an equation. Two numbers have a sum of 32. Well, sum means you're adding the two numbers together. So when you add the two numbers together, you get 32. So x plus y equals 32. That's an equation. But we can't solve for that because we have two unknowns in there. So we need more information. The first number, so x, is 4 more than the second number tripled. Well, the second number tripled would be 3y, and it's 4 more than that, so 3y plus 4. So x is 3y plus 4. So I'm going to take that and replace x with 3y plus 4. Now I have an equation that I can solve. I have like terms, 3y plus y, well that's 4y. I need to get this to the other side, so 32 minus 4 would be 28. So 4y equals 28. Divide both sides by 4. 28 divided by 4 is 7. So y equals 7. So I found one of my numbers. I still need to know the other number. Well, just remember, their sum is 32. So 7 plus my other number equals 32. Well, that just means my other number would be 32 minus 7, which is 25. So my two numbers are 25 and 7. And for my last example, determine the dimensions of a rectangle that has a perimeter of 72 centimeters and a length that is triple the width. Okay, so a few things going on here. It's a rectangle, so let's just draw a picture of a rectangle. The perimeter is 72 centimeters, so remember what perimeter is. That's the total distance around the outside. So if you added up the length, the width, plus the length, plus the width again, you'd end up with 72 centimeters. But we don't know what the length and the width are. We're told the length is triple the width. So let's let W represent the width. If the length is triple the width, then the length would be 3W. Now I know that the perimeter is 72 centimeters. So if I added up all my sides, I'll get 72 centimeters. So that's my equation. Now I can just combine all my like terms, and now I have a really simple equation, and now I can just easily solve by dividing both sides by the coefficient in front of the W. So when I solve that equation, I get W equals 9. So the width is 9 centimeters. The length is triple the width. So if the width is 9 centimeters, triple that, be 9 times 3. That's 27 centimeters. So we can say, therefore, the length is 27 centimeters and the width is 9 centimeters. So as you're working on word problems, when you're practicing them, remember to read through the question. Whatever it's asking you to figure out, that's your variable. So assign a letter to that. Then you have to carefully look through the question and come up with an equation or an expression. Once you have that, then you can solve the problem, and always finish off a word problem with a therefore statement.